Okay, so this is Roosevelt and the New Deal. Obviously, the New Deal is Roosevelt's baby. And Roosevelt was elected president in 1932, and his first session of Congress lasted for about 100 days, and it became known as 100 days because it was very important for his setting his standard of what he was going to be doing as president, which was helping us get out of the Great Depression, or at least trying to. So immediately he did three things. He closed all banks for a bank holiday, he reopened only the ones that were doing well, and he held fireside chats, which were radio public shows that he put on the radio to help communicate with people and share his ideas out. All right. FDR also sent a series of bills to Congress that kind of fit three different criteria. He focused on the relief for the needy. All right, so relief, big key word there. Recovery for agriculture and industry, so recovery. And reforms for the economy. So relief, recovery, and reforms. The three R's of FDR's New Deal plan and bills he sent to prepare us for the New Deal. Okay, the New Deal is a series of programs started by FDR to boost the economy, get people jobs, and get money back into the economy. Basically, is how we were going to fight the Great Depression. All right, the New Deal is actually two parts. So the first New Deal lasted from 1933 to 1935, and it focused on, like I said before, relief, recovery, and reform. That's important, so make sure you focus on that. All right, with all of these new programs, there were critics on both sides. Some people thought the government had too much power under these things, and then some people thought that these new programs were competing with private businesses, which would hurt the economy. So the New Deal has created all these new programs for people to have jobs, but what about the private businesses? And now those are starting to fall apart because people are working for the New Deal. Some also thought the New Deal did not do enough because there were still many families that were struggling during the Great Depression. But obviously it did provide a lot of jobs for a lot of people. So the first New Deal, some of the programs here are the PWA, the Public Works Administration, the AAA, the Agricultural Adjustment Administration, the CCC, the Civilian Conservation Corps, the FDIC, which we still have today, the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, and the NRA, the National Recovery Act. So those are some of the first New Deal programs that you need to know, so if you'll take a second to write those down. Man, my boards are always falling on me. Okay, so the second New Deal came out in 1935 after there was so much support for the first New Deal from FDR. So the second New Deal dealt with more social reform, so helping people's lives and their lifestyles. So the WPA is an example, Works Project Administration, where their jobs were given to writers and artists so they could write and produce work. The SSA, which took care of elderly people and also helped with unemployment benefits. The REA brought electricity to a bunch of rural areas. So those are some examples of the second New Deal. But the first and second New Deal all go together to create the New Deal, which are those programs that helped us get out of the Great Depression by getting people jobs and getting money back in the economy. But the New Deal did lose steam. Many of the justices on the Supreme Court did not support FDR's New Deal program because they felt like the government had too much power under the New Deal. It was too big and too much power. And remember, we had set up a system of checks and balances, and it was important for all the branches to be equal and the people to have a say. And under the New Deal program, the Supreme Court didn't feel that way. All right, it also cost a lot of money to run these programs because the U.S. government was using borrowed money. Because remember, we don't have any money. The U.S. government doesn't have any money because of the Great Depression. So we're using borrowed money to run these programs. And it was putting us more and more in debt because we were having to borrow money to run the AAA. We were having to borrow money to run the WPA. We were having to borrow money to get the FDIC going. All right, and so to reduce our debt, FDR cut these programs because he thought our nation's economy had recovered enough and we would continue to grow. Well, unfortunately, he was very, very wrong. All right, he calculated that very wrong. So when he got rid of some of those programs, all right, we fell into a severe economic depression until we entered World War II in 1941, which provided jobs for everybody that those jobs were needed for. All right. So what was life like during the New Deal? Well, it was pretty simple. Women gained a lot of opportunities to work, and then many women also were appointed to lead some of these New Deal programs. In fact, FDR appointed the first woman on his own cabinet. I think the Secretary of Labor, is what the first woman was. Don't quote me to that, though. African Americans also had a larger role in the government and had more job opportunities. In fact, FDR had a council of African Americans that he referred to as his personal cabinet that he would go to and do things right there. But FDR did not support a lot of civil rights bills at this time. I don't know what his reasoning was, but he was very focused on the economy. All right, labor unions gained strength because a lot of people were back in work and they wanted to improve working conditions, so they joined labor unions. The government was larger and more powerful than ever before, and the president had a lot of that power. And many of these programs that we talked about in the New Deal before still exist today. The Social Security stuff exists, the FDIC. the SEC, which we haven't mentioned before, but that's the Security and Exchange Commission, and they kind of monitor the stock market, which is important, obviously, with the Great Depression, the stock market crash. So this is the New Deal, and this kind of ends our boom and bust unit.